So this one should just be a really quick update on the whole CGC fiasco if you've seen the previous video, and I will put a link up here somewhere in case you haven't checked that one out so you know what I'm even babbling about here. And just a little general update on the channel, my plans, and that sort of thing. I'm not even sure what I'm going to call this thing yet, but so it's kind of a little vlog format, and hopefully it won't be too long and boring. First, I want to mention what happened, what the final resolution was for the CGC Godzilla #1 fiasco. I'll put the link up here in case you haven't checked that one out. But basically, I got a copy of Godzilla #1, and I got it from Graham Cracker's Comics, and it was CGC slabbed. And it was supposed to be like an 8.5, and it had a little tear in the cover. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing, though. All the details are in the video that I will link there in case you haven't seen that one. But anyway, one thing that's not included in the video, although I did put it in the comment section, I pinned it there, but I'm not sure everybody reads that, so I thought I should do a video where I actually talk about it. What happened was I sent a link to that video to John Robinson, the co-owner of Graham Cracker's Comics. Now, I wasn't asking for anything. I just wanted him to be aware of what happened with this CGC slab, and I didn't expect them to do anything about what I paid for it because it's not really their fault. I mean, they didn't slab it. The CGCs did. But to their credit, and to John Robinson's credit, being a stand-up guy, running a stand-up business, he actually gave me 50% back in the form of credit for the website, which I was completely happy with that. And I used it to buy some other comics. He didn't have any more Godzilla ones, but I did get some other things I want. I got some ElfQuest and whatnot. And I thought that was a really stand-up thing to do, and they went above and beyond. So if you want to buy any singles or price guides, and they have a few other things, check out their websites, grahamcrackerscomics.com. I'll put a link down in the doobly-doo in case I got that slightly wrong. But I do totally recommend them. And the resolution to this story is just another example of what a good retailer does and how they stand up. So I want to give a shout out to them. And I wanted everybody to know exactly how they handled it once they were made aware of it. So that's pretty cool. And speaking of me trying to complete my Godzilla collection, that's what I was doing there. I had actually already had a copy of Godzilla #1 before I bought the one from the slab copy from Graham Crackers. But what I decided I wanted to do was, since Godzilla was one of the first comic books, Marvel's Godzilla I'm talking about, it was a 24-issue run in the late 70s, and it was the first series I ever really tried to collect. And I failed when I was a kid. It was just too hard. I never got them all. But I have got them all now, all 24. And I decided before I do a read-through and an eventual video on it, I wanted to get higher grade copies. Now, everybody's definition of high grade is different, but what I mean when I say high grade is 8 or above. I'm totally happy with 8.0 or above. So I have about 2 more I need to buy before I can complete all 24 in the decent grade like that. So that video's coming in case anybody's interested. I mean, it's not my typical video because it's not a collected edition. Well, it's a collected edition, but it's not a hardcover. It's the old way. You had to collect them, buy all the singles. But anyway, so that is coming. And I just want to give you all an update on that in case you care. Now I want to talk a little bit about the channel, some updates on that, and my plans for it, really. When I started making content seriously for the channel almost 4 months ago, I had a few goals in mind. I decided I would give myself a year, and my AC just kicked on. Nice. Hopefully that doesn't mess the audio up too much, but I decided I would give myself a year or 100 videos, whichever came first, to reach these goals. And if I couldn't make it, then I would probably just stop making content. Because while I love talking about these books that I love, I don't necessarily like the idea of just doing it for no reason. I mean, I want someone to see it. I'm not trying to make money, but I do want to share in this with people. Because I don't know about you guys, but in real life, I mean, other than my wife and my daughter, Kristen, you guys know her, the Comic Slayer. In real life, I really don't have anyone that likes comics that are my friends that I can see day to day. I mean, I have a couple of buddies that I see very seldom and I talk to online, and of course all of you, but I don't have any actual friends in real life that read comics, that like comics, that know anything about comics. It's pretty sad. And I just kind of wonder how widespread that is. Is that a common thing, or are there areas where there are people that openly talk about comics? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, in the physical space of the world, I don't know. Anyway, so I decided I would, because this does take a fair amount of effort, and I've invested in a little bit of equipment and whatnot, and certainly time, and my wife's time. She does the handheld stuff for me, and lots of other things to make it possible for me to do this, so I thank her. But yeah, so I decided to give myself a year or 100 videos to reach, what I consider good enough, which would be, I think the goal I set was sort of a 100 subscribers. I wanted all my videos to at least hit 100 average views within a few weeks. Well, I'm happy to report now that 4 months later, I've greatly exceeded both of those metrics, So I have well over 200 subs now, and I thank you guys for that. It's awesome. And most of my videos are well over 100 views within a couple weeks, some a couple days, so that's nice. So, I feel like it's working. But, the more you get into YouTube, the more you find out things are classified by subscriber counts, And what I mean by that is things they'll let you do. Like I couldn't get the shortened URL, which now you can just literally type in youtube.com/Larry's Library, and it'll take you right here. But to get that short link, you have to have at least 100 subs. And some arbitrary amount of time passed, too, before they cycle it through their system. And lots of this YouTube stuff is not documented, at least not by Google or YouTube. I mean, you can dig around and see people talking about it and sort of learn some of these things, but it's odd that it's all not documented somewhere, but it's not. And of course, the big one is, for me anyway, not big for most people, because like I said, I'm not worried about this money thing at all. I mean, it would be great if I could at least break even with the the equipment and whatnot that I've had to buy. But aside from that, I wanted that community tab, where I could say stuff like this and not necessarily have to make a video. Not that I mind making the video, but some things you could just put up in text and be done with it, announcements and scheduling and things like that. You got to have that community tab. Well, you got to have 1,000 subs before YouTube lets you turn that on. So that's become a goal, and I kind of want the 1,000, As far as monetization, you probably heard YouTubers talk about that. Well, the way it works, as of now anyway, I mean, it's probably a changing thing, but since I've looked at it, 1,000 subs doesn't get you monetized. That's a threshold. You got to have that. You have to have 4,000 public watch hours also. Now, I don't know how I'm ever going to hit that. That's a big number. I mean, I'm sitting at like 480 now, something like that. So, and even if you get that, I'm not sure what percentage of ad revenue they give you. I'm betting it's pretty small, unless you're a huge presence on YouTube. Most people aren't going to quit and just do YouTube. I mean, yeah, you see it happen, but when I started this, or actually before I started this, but when I conceived the idea for a channel, I wanted to wait until I retired from my day job. Now, I'm not happy at all in my day job. I mean, the money's good and I'm not breaking my back, but it's quite something to get through the 10-hour days there. It's kind of, how can I say it? It sucks. I mean, people have a lot worse jobs than me, so I don't want to come on here and complain about it. For one thing, I want this channel to be about happiness and about things that you like, So I'm not going to talk about my day job, other than I have 8 more years before I can hit early retirement at 62. And I was going to wait until that time so I could devote more time to YouTube, to getting out good content. And I had a number of people in real life and online that pressured me, and they're like, no, don't wait. Wait 8.5, 9 years. Don't do that. Start now and you can build on it, and then by the time you do retire, it'll already be there, I'm like, well. So I finally did try it, and here we are 4 months later. So shout out to Jeff in real life, who talked me into, or encouraged me to do it now instead of waiting until I'm 62. And Big AK online, I remember you were the one of the first to ever tell me to, hey, do it now, and you've been a big encouragement in the comments forever. So thank you, Big AK. And I also want to let everybody know, in case you didn't know, which why would you? If you want to support the channel monetarily, and you have it and you can, I do have a Patreon now. I'll put the link down below. It's actually in all the videos now. The link is in the description. I would have never bothered with a Patreon because I would never imagine anyone would want to pay me for my content. I mean, it's nice, but it's real nice to think that it was amusing enough to you that you'd want to, give me something for it. But I certainly did not expect it. But if anyone wants it, I do have one set up now. Shout out to George Rockwell, who actually asked me if I had a way to be paid, and I didn't, and I went and set it up because George Rockwell asked me to, and he was my first sub, or my first paying Patreon member, so thank you, George. And I'll let you know what Omni I buy with that first month's when I get it. So I'll bet you it's in some video. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed and you've been meaning to, or you've been thinking about it, or you're on the fence, please do that. Give me that subscription. Give me that number for YouTube and their damn algorithm, which I'm sure you're tired of hearing about if you're a YouTube fanatic like I am. And I certainly didn't want to bring that stuff up, and I'm not going to beg for money, and I'm not going to beg for subs, but sometimes I got to ask for it, or it's probably not going to happen. So yeah, please subscribe if you like this stuff. You don't want to miss any. If you want to pay me monetarily, it sounds crazy just to say it out loud for me, but if you do, that's in place too. You can be a Patreon. You go to my Patreon page. But otherwise, yeah, just keep watching and coming back, and give me a like if you like this sort of thing, and tell me what you'd like to see on the channel, what you want to see more of, and maybe what you don't want to see more of, and I'll try to accommodate that where I can, within the framework of what I'm trying to do here, which is share my passion for comic books primarily. Sometimes they'll touch on other things, but mostly comic books and related material, and that's what this is about. And I'm glad you're here with me. So thanks.
What are you doing now?
Nothing.
Are you painting something?
Yeah.
Aw, is that for me?
No, it's for the channel.
What, for a video?
No, for a thumbnail.
Okay.